Donald Trump has gone from campaign trail outsider to wartime decision-maker. In the span of days, he's shifted the global tone on Russia, challenged Netanyahu over Gaza, and reignited debate over media bias in war coverage.
Earlier you said that you were going to change the deadline from 50 days.
Yeah,
What is your new deadline?
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting.
Let's unpack what's happening, what the media is saying, and what it all might mean. Trump initially gave Vladimir Putin 50 days to change behavior in Ukraine or face sanctions. Now that window has shrunk dramatically.
I mean, based on television, I would say not particularly, because those children look very hungry.
But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that.
This shift signals a move away from diplomacy. Critics say it was never realistic, while supporters argue Putin left no choice by targeting civilians and ignoring peace efforts.
And I think we've seen some real problems with how they've covered both of these wars. With the Israel situation, I mean, just like the reporter saying Netanyahu says there's no starving. I mean, didn't he more say the starving is the result of how Hamas is controlling the food supply, which is different than saying there's no starving. And then with the Russian...
Another front is Gaza. With hostages still held by Hamas, Trump is now openly clashing with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu over reports of starvation. Netanyahu denies there's starvation. Trump disagrees, marking a rare public divide between the two leaders.
Russia is a nuclear power. They have thousands of nuclear warheads. They don't have to accept a conventional end of a war, and that is resulting in some of these problems in actually getting to an agreement. I just think the level of coverage we're getting is unserious, and then also limited by how much they can actually see what's happening.
But while wars rage abroad, a media war brews at home. Critics argue news outlets are mishandling both Ukraine and Gaza coverage. A photo of an emaciated child published by the New York Times turned out to be misleading. The child had a pre-existing illness, and the healthy sibling was cropped out. This kind of reporting fuels public distrust.
When he said, I don't want permanent enemies. And that gets back to this sort of, 19th century idea of no permanent enemies, no permanent friends, but permanent interests. And I think that is how Trump is rejiggering foreign policy writ large, whether it's Gaza and his relationship with Netanyahu and his willingness to stand up to Netanyahu and disagree with him when that
quite publicly,
quite publicly when he feels appropriate, agree with him in other areas where he feels it's appropriate. I will say that I've been with Trump many times when he talks about Gaza, and he always talks about the hostages. He always talks about the hostages first, and he points out that when he's talked to the hostages and hostage families that have had their loved ones returned, he always asks, was there anybody who was kind to you? Or was there anybody that gave you food, that winked, that smiled? And they say no. And that really hits him hard.
Trump is taking a transactional approach to diplomacy, even when it means clashing with longtime allies like Netanyahu.
On the domestic front, President Trump getting a lot of media flack for firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McIntyre, a Biden appointee, for reporting just job growth of just 73,000 in July and revising downward by 258,000 jobs the last couple of months.
From layoffs to foreign crises, Trump is steering into controversy. But whether his strategy succeeds or backfires may depend less on policy and more on perception. Let us know what you think in the comments. Has Trump's foreign policy adapted to the moment, or is he creating more chaos abroad?